In 1805, Andersen was born into a shoemaker's family in Odense, Denmark. At the age of 7, his father taught him to read, but he instead dripped candle wax on books to create magic patterns. This was his first fascination with stories. When he was 12, his father passed away, so he dropped out of school to work as an apprentice. At 14, he went to Copenhagen alone to pursue his dreams, working as a street performer singing and dancing. However, his voice became hoarse, and people threw rotten tomatoes at him. At 19, he tried to join the Royal Theatre but was rejected for the leading role because of his appearance. When he was 22, he wrote his first poetry collection and sent it to a publishing house, but it was returned. At 25, he studied abroad with a scholarship. During the journey, a storm hit the ship. At 30, he published The Improvisatore, which received positive reviews. When he was 35, The Ugly Duckling was published, and readers were moved to tears. At 40, he fell in love with a female singer but was rejected. Heartbroken, he wrote The Little Mermaid and murmured, "Love is like a bubble, beautiful yet fragile." At 45, his collection of fairy tales became popular across Europe. The Queen invited him for tea, but he knocked over the teacup. When he was 50, he got sick while traveling but refused to see a doctor, saying, "Heroes in fairy tales can always heal themselves." At 55, he refused to get married, stating, "My children are those stories. They will never betray me." At 60, he gained international fame, but he choked up during a speech, saying, "I have written happy endings all my life, yet I have lived in a lonely fairy tale." When he was 65, he published The Emperor's New Clothes to satirize the powerful. He joked, "Maybe I am the naked emperor myself." At 70, his health deteriorated. While feeding pigeons, he sighed, "Life is like a fairy tale. It always comes to an end." In 1875, Andersen passed away. His last words were, "Don't cry. My soul will turn into a star to light up children's dreams." Throughout his life, he created more than 150 fairy tales, which have inspired countless souls. Yet in his diary he wrote, "I write happiness with ink and moisten the paper with tears."